The first one passed away when we were 18 years old. One of your best friends in the world dies, and he's got triplet brothers. Well, I become, in some ways, the third. Unfortunately, the next one passed at 19 years old, and that's the one I was really close with. I was about 2 steps away from someone to ask me to do something ridiculous, and I was all in. I walked into church for the first time, and it was sufficiently weird, and I was like, I don't know, this is for me. I don't really understand what's going on here. And they were like, well, why don't you read the Bible? And I was like, I never read it. And they were like, well, just start in like the book of John or something. And I was like, I don't know, we'll see. So I grabbed the Bible, and I rewrote the entire New Testament by hand, and that kind of set me off on another path. And thank God, I got no shame, man. So I'm like, I'm just gonna go knock on some doors. If someone throws me off the porch, I'll just go to the next one. They can throw me off the porch until someone decides, all right, I'm gonna give this young man a try. Best decision ever! Exclamation.
You homeschool your kids.
You can't humiliate a humble man. Do you want to run someone over with a truck? You ain't there yet, bro.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Man, this is a special one today. See, you don't meet people like James Hatfield every day. He's built billion-dollar businesses, started 6 churches, mentored former inmates to launch businesses, and somehow still finds time to homeschool 4 kids. The secret to his success, though, it's not what you think. See, this isn't just a story about building companies. It's a story about building second chances, making systems simple and creating a life of impact that most of us only dream about. But fair warning though, this conversation could make you rethink everything you know about business and success. James, thank you so much for being here, brother. I am super stoked to have you here, bro.
Oh, I'm happy to be here, Kofi. I'm excited to tell stories and, the good, the bad, and of course, the ugly.
Yeah, and of course the ugly, right? That's where it is. I love to keep it real. And thank you so much as well too for wanting to keep it real with me as well too and everybody else watching and listening, because I think it's absolutely monumental. Like, who you are, where you came from, the type of company that you're working with, and you guys' mission in this world, right? So James, like you started out as an atheist. You lost close friends and then completely transformed your life by building businesses and churches. Can you take us to that moment when you hit rock bottom and what set you on the extraordinary path?
Something greater than me. And I didn't even know it. Because growing up, I just grew up in an atheist household. My dad was like, hey, all that stuff is Santa Claus. Just don't ruin it for the kids.
Wow.
And that's how I was raised. And that was fine. Like we weren't nasty to anybody or anything like that. And, um, my dad came from losing his father young. My grandfather lost his father young. We've had a lot of death in our family. And then, you know, deaths of my closest friends. So growing up, regular kid, just growing up, high school, middle school, with my friends, we'd play basketball every day. We were full of nonsense. We'd skip school to play basketball or skip school to go fishing or, do stupid stuff. And I had triplet friends growing up. No one could tell them apart, but same neighborhood, ended up going to camps together, just living life. The thing that was different about them that they didn't want anybody to know is that they had a disease called cystic fibrosis. And if anyone's familiar with that, life expectancy back then, I'm dating myself, was about 18 years old. Nowadays, with medication, these folks can live to about in their 40s or 50s, which means they would actually still be around if, but they were passing away. So I'd started a painting company. Right out of high school, I wanted to get right to work, and then I decided, man, maybe I need to learn my business a little bit more. And not everyone needs to go back to university, but I was like, I'm going to go to university. And my boys were going to the university. So I was like, I'm just going to go to college with them. Problem is the first one passed away when we were 18 years old. And when you grow up and you feel like you're going to live forever, that nothing bad is going to happen. Everything's going to be all right. So when one of your best friends in the world dies and he's got triplet brothers, well, I become in some ways a third. So we were just we were all just destroyed from that. And then unfortunately, the next one passed at 19 years old, and that's the one I was really close with. And so just bam, hit me another wave. And back in that day, mental health was not discussed. It was like, hey, you better rub some dirt in it, get over it, and get back to it. But I couldn't find a way to really get back to it. Couldn't go back to my classes at state, and when I did, usually I'd been into some nonsense, and just trying to fill that bucket full of just whatever would fit. And not always good things. But it was an empty hole I didn't know what to do with. And well, some girls in my class must have recognized something and said, "Hey, you want to come with us to church?" And I was like, Not really, but whatever. Let's do this thing. I ain't never been before." And I know y'all people are going to be weird. So I walked into church for the first time and it was sufficiently weird. And I was like, I don't know, this is for me. I'm not sure. I don't really understand what's going on here. And they were like, well, why don't you read the Bible? And I was like, I never read it. And they were like, well, just start in like the book of John or something. And I was like, I don't know, we'll see. So I grabbed the Bible and I started mornings with coffee and I rewrote the entire New Testament by hand.
Wow.
And I was like, I looked up, I was like, well, isn't this American religion interesting? And that kind of set me off on another path. And thank God, because boy, I was about 2 steps away from someone to ask me to do something ridiculous, and I was all in because
Wow.
I was done for. But that's where she started, and then it
Wow.
blossomed from there.
Wow, dude, that is really, really impeccable and really special too. Because man, I can imagine. I can't imagine losing three of your closest friends that are pretty much like family, just back to back like that. Because like all of us, is like I remember when I lost my grandfather, or like someone special to me also lost like their grandmother. My best friend in the whole wide world, he just lost his mom just like 2 years ago, and I remember how it rocked our whole world. Imagining just having three people back to back doing that, and all it must have been. I don't even think we can understand how tough it was, can we?
Mhm. I didn't even know what to do with it either. Like,
Wow.
person you see every day of your life, your whole life is just not there anymore. And like, I try to fill it with anything. I filled it with some religion too, but even then, I gotta say, like, the only thing that fills that hole is that person. Like, that's
Mm,
kind of what I've learned 20 some odd years later. Is like, I've tried to put everything into that unfillable hole. There's only one thing that fits in that hole, and that's
mm,
my boys.
mm.
You know, and that's what I've had to come to learn. And I've experienced even more death since then. So don't hang out with me too long, Kofi. I'm gonna make black rabbits for you. Don't look at.
You are stuck with me. You are stuck with me
All
right
right, man. I'll catch you on the other side then, bro.
now. Oh my gosh. From what I know about you right now, wherever you go, there's always blessings, which is what I see. And I really love, man, again, guys, James is truly one of a kind. Like, truly. He is something different. Truly, truly different and special. And I'm just in awe to be in his presence and to always also like have him share this story because it's very monumental. So, man, brother, like, unfortunately, you're stuck with me right now,
All
truly.
right, man. Well, anything you see good in me is not. You're not looking at me. I'm just trying to imitate somebody else. I'm cool by association, my man.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't make this stuff up. Trust me. I would
Yeah.
never have said some of the things that I'm trying to do. I'm like, what? You're asking a red-blooded American male to do what? Oh, heck no.
Right. I
But I
totally
done
understand
messed
that.
up so bad, and I put the car in a ditch. I was like, well,
Wow.
on my own drive, when I'm driving, boy, it ain't pretty.
Well, I'm glad that you're at least safe, brother. I'm glad you're at least safe, going strong, brother. So, and you went for a painting business as
Yeah,
well too. That was the first thing that you went off with. Why painting?
my grandfather.
Mm,
Um, his dad died young. He was 16. He was the oldest, and he ended up going to work at a tire shop so he could put food on the table for his family. So he took one for the team.
wow.
And so his big dream for me, when you haven't been with much, you don't sometimes you can't dream huge, you know.
Mm,
And the biggest dream as his grandson, he's like, grandson, like my big dream for you is you should paint the highway. Go get one of those machines, and we'll always need paint on the highway, and that's
wow.
what you need to do. And I was like, all right, I can't afford that machine, but I can learn how to paint maybe a house. And so I didn't know how to paint a house, so I was like, I put myself around a few folks that did and did
Mm,
it right, and just learned and apprenticed myself to them, and I got the job done, and I knew I had no fear. I got no shame, man. So I'm like, I'm just gonna go knock on some doors, and if someone throws me off the porch, I'll just go to the next one. They can throw me off the porch until someone decides, all right, I'm gonna give this young man a try. Because I was 18, nothing years old, trying to
mm,
just pay my way. No one was paying for me. I had to find a
mm,
way to pay bills, and so that's the kind of grind that you're like, if I don't get a deal, we ain't eating, especially when I got two teams going, they hungry, and they were grown men,
Mm.
and I mean, I was too, but they were grown, like families. You're like, all right, I'm not just knocking for me now,
Mm.
so I knock on, I have my little polo on, and yes, sir, yes, ma'am, let me show you what we're going to do. And then crazy enough, once a couple people said yes. I was like, all right, let's do this. But once you
Wow.
get your first one, then you can reference and you can say, hey, I just did this. And painting like is beautiful, right? Like it goes
Mm.
from looking like junk to is beautiful. And my
Yeah.
guys were learning, and I mean, we were growing the business. And one day we were just out there painting like we do, and we always had to power wash to make sure that the older paint is ready to receive the new paint. You don't
Mm.
want to paint over dirt. And
Mm.
so a neighbor recognized we were washing, and they walk over like, hey, I don't need a paint job. My house is dirty. Can you guys, power wash this for me? I was like, well, I got all the equipment. I sent one of my guys over. I was like, we're about to make great money. This guy's about to give me like $300 for half an hour worth of work, and my guy was like, I'll give you here's $100, go do it, So we did it. And, when you're down the South and it's summertime, it's hot,
Mm.
man.
It's hot.
Anybody on a ladder baking like a California raisin up there trying to, paint the house. And my boys were like, hey, I can go play with water guns. Let's do that.
Mm.
And so that we switched, I mean, I had to get smaller crews. You don't need crews of 4 to paint a house, 2 at
Mm.
the most, really 1,
Mm.
unless we're doing commercial jobs.
Mm.
And so we transitioned to power washing and deck staining and painting, and the margins were fantastic. And what I love about it is the recurring revenue. Like I can say, hey, look, we'll come out every year, we'll reseal the deck, we're going to come out here rewash either once a year, every other year, and it's just recurring, predictable revenue. So I was like, this is even better because you paint a house head to toe, you're not touching that baby for another 15 years.
Yeah.
So you just kind of had to either, unless you're going inside, you paint the outside, paint the inside, paint.
Mm.
I mean, you can still squeeze more juice out of there, but I
Mm.
really love building a book of business. And then from there, things started changing when I was like, well, maybe I should go to college. And I don't understand my books very well. So
Mm. Good.
that's the next phase of the journey.
That is awesome. That is actually awesome. I didn't even know about all of that. So would you say college was very, very important and monumental to the next step or the shift in business that happened with you throughout your journey till now?
Yeah. I mean, I'm dating myself, but over
Mm.
20 years ago, college was actually affordable.
True.
I'm like, I can't believe what college charges. I'm like, for what? No, we're going to community college, y'all. That's what I'm sending my kids. I'm like, we're going to start right there. I'm like, and then we can finish. If you want the fancy degree, go for it. But at that time, everything was affordable. State school.
Mm.
I could, work my cruise and go to
Mm.
college at night, and so that's what I did. And put myself through. And for me, it did a couple things. One, helped teach me numbers. Like it taught me the books. Like I took a
Mm.
lot of accounting courses. I really wanted to know I have my mind on my money on my mind. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's what I needed to do. So
Mm.
I did. And when I graduated, I hooked up with my now partner. He was graduating with his MBA. He's a little older than me. He has an MBA from Duke University, and he was into numbers too. And so
Mm.
he created this expert system where you could put a income statement balance sheet into the tool, and it would spit out in layman's terms, here's how you're doing. And so I was like, that's pretty cool. And so I joined him, and we set off. And I mean, I literally worked in a hallway of some random office building in
Wow.
Raleigh, North Carolina. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go back to my roots. Give me that phone. So I'm like, I don't know what to call, but I'm gonna call New York City because those are fast movers. So they're gonna hang up on me fast, but they're gonna buy fast too. So I was like, that phone is my moneymaker. Uh, and
Mm.
this was the first time I ever had a computer at work. Like I never had computers back then. They were like in the corner. We
Wow.
didn't have those, but computers were just coming out. They were big old nasty things. But I found a way to go get a bunch of phone numbers for
Mm.
accountants because they were taking care of. They were doing the books,
Mm.
and I called the snot out of those guys. And sure enough, made money.
Wow.
And I was like, well, let's go hire some more folks. So went and hired a bunch more folks. And we ended up becoming Inc. 500 for 3 years, which
Wow.
means you're one of the fastest growing companies in the country.
Mm.
And then it kept growing, and banks started using our stuff. And sure enough, all the banks started using it in the country. And now it's a multi-billion-dollar company. And guys I hired right out of college are still working there. And
Wow.
we sold that thing for a
Wow.
lot of money to a
A
company
lot.
called KKR. It's a big old
Oh,
private equity company. And we made it. We exited. But in hindsight, we're kind of wishing we didn't. But whatever, that's a whole nother story. But
That is interesting. Why do you wish you did it though?
it feels like you're selling your family, even
Mm,
though
okay.
work's not your family. But
Mm,
like, it's time for you to go. Like, a whole
mm,
new leadership comes in, they start tearing your baby up, and you're just like, all right. I mean, they bought it to do whatever, and they
mm,
rename it, they do everything. So we
mm.
got into philanthropy. I was like, let's go give back now that we got a couple nickels. Let's go see what
Yeah.
we can give. So we both did a few different things. I went and started churches,
Mm.
and my partner went and started Inmates to Entrepreneurs, because we have a big heart for incarcerated women and men
Mm,
and second chances. And I felt like I was given a second chance in a different kind of way
mm,
during my lowest point. So we educate and say, hey, look, people don't like to hire people with a record, but you know what? You can start a business. So here's how you do it. And
mm.
it turned into an ABC television show called Free Enterprise,
Wow.
won a bunch of awards. My partner started that show, and goodness, bring a tissue box. You can watch that, because it's just awesome stories. And we even hire now in our new company that we purchased a company 4 years ago. We hire folks out of that program, and
Wow.
they're amazing, man. So got
I
nothing but good things to say, And for all you business owners out there, I know it might give you the heebie-jeebies a little bit, but sometimes the things that we do in our younger self is not who we are in our older self. So
wow.
you know.
Brother, that is absolutely freaking amazing. Like I love that so much. You have done so much in this world for people and in the name of stewardship as well too. And the impact that you've had is second to none. And that makes me truly happy, especially as somebody that impact always is the number one thing for me. It matters to me the most. It doesn't matter the nickels at the end of the day. Sure, nickels matter, makes things like move ahead for you to do what you want to do, get that freedom, but it's the impact that you bring into people's lives that really matters the most. And for with what you and your partner are doing, it's amazing. Now it makes me curious though, because because it's like there are many people that have your type of ideology, the vision as well too, like I just want to like give an impact and all of that. And they'll hit like maybe I don't know, maybe $5 million or something like that in annual revenue or something of that sort, and they'll be like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'll just stay here. I'll keep coasting." You've also said before that like your entrepreneurial drive came from necessity, of course, in which we also dived into painting houses, knocking doors, cold calling accountants, and all of that to make ends meet. But I'm wondering, like, what really fueled your hunger to keep building even after you made it?
I don't know what else I would do, man. Like, I'm not a Netflix and chill guy, Like, I'm just not how I was raised. My grandfather built his own house, and I helped him build it. My dad built his own house, and we're just born to work, I guess, where we come from. Like, we don't have soft hands, Like my
Mm,
engineers. Like, we know a hard day's work, and, we like to get out there and bake in the sun and do stuff, And I don't know, like, there's a certain satisfaction, like, working quietly with your hands so you have something to give back, and being able to
mm,
give back is better than, the fancy cars, the yachts, all the other stuff, it's I can't explain it until, like, you serve quietly. I'm not looking for be on a billboard. I don't really want to know my name. I just wanna go and serve quietly, and we have little things happen, like, give an example, my daughters love to bake. And so we and my neighbor owns a hardware store.
mm,
And so we asked, hey, could we set up shop in front of your hardware store and raise money for this women's shelter? And my kids are going to like sell baked goods. And every time they're out there, some lady walks by. She's like, "Are you gonna be here in like 15 minutes? Are you still gonna be?" And we're like, "Yeah, all right, we're here." And 15 minutes later, that lady comes back with a fistful of cash, like you never seen. And they're like, "Take this. I used to be in that women's shelter. Give it to them." And I would not have where I'm at if it wasn't for that organization. And the big old crocodile tears. And so it's stuff like that that I don't know how to explain how that feels unless you do it. It's like trying to
mm,
explain how delicious vanilla ice cream is. Like, just eat the dang thing, man. Like, it's good. Like, I don't want to sit here and explain to you how good it is to impact another life without
mm,
any hope for anything back. Like,
mm,
my favorite thing to do, well, I say favorite, it's a thing I like to do is go sing at hospice, because I like to sing, play guitar. So we'll
mm,
just go and sing like old spiritual songs or old hymns. It depends on the room.
mm,
I hate walking into the young ones when it's like a a teenager, and it's about to be their last day, and their family's sitting right there. And I've got my kids right beside me. We're singing Amazing Grace or whatever. And crocodile tears all around. I can't explain this. I can't explain. I get nothing. There's nothing to get back except for a moment in time and an experience. And I think that's the kind of stuff that's, if you can find a place to give in your community and give back, you never know. I mean, my community in Asheville, North Carolina was just destroyed by a hurricane. We had plenty of opportunity to give back, and still are. And I don't know, when people come together, even through nonsense and misery and hurt and brokenness, we actually see each other's humanity, and that we're really all not that different. It's just some of us care a little bit more about others than other people. So try to put others above yourself. So take that for what it's worth. I don't know if you want to do anything with it as a business owner, but you can make more than just an impact on your business and your staff members. You can impact your community, and some of y'all will impact the world.
Brother, you say the absolute best things. And man, I know a lot of business owners like yourself and I will definitely be resonating about that a lot. I'm curious because just like the way Thomas Edison failed so many times in creating the light bulb before he finally made it, many business owners as well too have tried to start businesses or tried to start ventures and always fell face flat really hard. Can you tell us about a moment where things didn't go as planned, like a failed project, a risky decision, or a time you almost gave up? What happened and what you learned from that to keep going?
Yeah, I mean, our current company, really.
Mm,
So since we'd had a good exit on the other company, clearly, we had a lot of nickels to rub together, and we're like, all right, instead of starting from scratch again, let's buy a company. So we
mm,
looked across for hundreds and hundreds of different companies and found one out of Vancouver, Canada.
mm,
Founder-led, bunch of computer scientists, and they deal with a technology called WebRTC. Don't worry, I had no idea what it was either. Web real-time communication. And we decide, because they're very unique, like one of only a few companies in the world that do it, we're like, let's buy this one. So we did. So we come over, and I'm sitting, and I'm going to take on the product team first. And now I'm running revenue, but I'm sitting with the engineers, and these guys they're speaking English to me, and I'm nodding my head, but I don't understand the word coming out of their mouth. I'm like, I don't understand what y'all are saying. Like, you got to explain it to me like I'm 5. Okay, now maybe explain it to me like I'm 2. Like, keep helping me out. So it took a while to get to understand it, and what we were selling was incredibly hard. Like, every time I needed to get with a prospect, I had to bring the interpreters, the engineers. And I'm like, gosh, I'm so out of my wheelhouse right now. Like, I feel like, what can I even contribute when I can't even speak the language, you know?
mm,
And so it's humbling. And then it
mm,
was hard to find all these customers. We did really cool stuff. Like, we did the Super Bowl last year, year before that. And if you go to like an MLB ballpark and scan a QR code and they put you on the Jumbotron, that's our stuff. Like, we did 100 episodes of WWE wrestling. We did the All-Star game for NBA. We still do stuff with the Bulls and the Bucks and like Department of Defense and all this stuff, like really cool stuff. But it's really hard to find those customers. And we're like, man, now we're trying to go to a even bigger company for pride. Just the pride of like, we played at the college, like in my mind, the college level, like the last company, multi-billion-dollar. I'm trying to play
mm,
it like elite. Like, if I want to ball against, Jordan, Kobe, and, Tatum. Like,
mm.
come on, put me, that's who I want to ball with. That's just me. That's just us. And
I love
so
that.
the equivalent of that in the business world is like, all right, Microsoft, watch your back. Like, I'm coming. Because they had to start from somewhere too. Like, just because you got it done in a garage, like, why can't
Mm,
I get it done?
mm,
What makes me any different? And
mm,
so now we got to row the boat and we got to hustle. But we were in a place where I was like, I don't see us scaling to like billions. I see us scaling to millions. Like, got it, and
mm,
that's great. But how do I go elite? And so, by happenstance, I got an opportunity to reinvent the 911 phone call with the chief of police of Washington, D.C.
mm,
And he's like, hey, we are trying to do next gen policing, situational awareness. And I'm banging my head up against the wall. Like, how do we build something that, you know, you don't have time in an emergency to stop and download an app or anything like that. It needs to be
mm,
instant. But we need to see, with all the cameras we have on our phones now, like most phones have 4, 5, 6 cameras. It's nuts. Like, let's use that stuff from the citizen's phone to scan to the police car. And I'm just banging my head in the wall because the chief police like, come back to me when you got something. I'm like, all right, that's a tough problem to solve. But me and these smarty computer scientists, I was like, I think I got an idea. So I woke up at like 3 a.m. one morning and sketched the whole dang thing out, gave it to my smart co-founders. And I mean, those guys, they make it real. Like I can't code in anything, right? But I can think, right? And like, all right, so we did. And so we showed it to him. And I can't tell you, like, so the before I get into the next part, the question is like, when we, like, I was stuck. My wheels are spinning. Like, I can't see the billions. Like, how are we going to get there? Like, I don't know, but let me just grind, you know, and like, and think and go. And then opportunities come along, right? Like all of a sudden click up, then all of a sudden you're banging your head against something, click up, you know, and like, you feel like you're not making all this progress. And all of a sudden, boom, you're making a ton of progress, you know? So I could go back to the chief and I'm like, let me show you what I got. And he's, I still remember he looking over his eyelid glass. He's like, James, like, you know, I'm like, oh, I must have messed up. He's looking over the rim of his glasses. I mean, this is now when I just get told to step on out, you know? But he's like, James, why didn't we have this already? It now all just seems so obvious. And I'm like, hey, here's the thing. We didn't all have cell phones in our pocket and now we do. So let's use it. So it's okay. Of course we didn't have it, but we got it now. You're actually like given a cell phone when you're born, you know, like welcome to the world. Here's a cell phone, you know, like, so we tapped into that thing and government takes forever. So I was like, gosh, like it's going to be a while before this really gets mainstream. So like, who else could use this? So I meet this guy. I'm thinking like, there's a bunch of these guys that take care of arenas and like security. So I meet a guy who takes care of the Tennessee Titans football team, you know, for the NFL, 20 years FBI. This guy's name's AD. And we're talking and I'm showing him all our emergency response stuff. And he goes, James, another guy, James. I'm like, yes, sir. I mean, these guys are awesome, man. James. He's like, let me ask you a stupid question. I'm like, what is it, AD? He's like, can I just text my guy across the arena when the trash cans fall over and he can show me so I don't have to hop in my golf cart because that would help me a lot. And I was like, yes. And things started clicking. I was like, oh, that reminds me of the Nextel walkie-talkie from back in the day. I was like, hold on now. And so I'm telling this story to another guy. So another golden nugget, anyone listen, build a network of smart men and women of all ages. So I go to my buddy, Durham, North Carolina, back to where I was born and raised. Well, not born, but I was raised. I was born somewhere else, but I was raised in Durham, North Carolina. And this guy, his family is in the Hall of Fame of self-storage. I was like, there's a Hall of Fame of self-storage? What? Okay, cool. They retire your jersey too, just like Joe Montana. All right, I got you. So I'm telling him the same story like I was telling the FBI guy. And he's like, dude, like you need to come and disrupt self-storage. He's like, we're all trying to, you know, manage a bunch of facilities with just a few staff. And there's these expensive things out there. No, I don't think anyone's got it really figured out. I was like, John, I don't know anything about self-storage. He's like, don't worry. Come with me to Vegas to an international self-storage conference and I'll introduce you to all the smarty pants people. I was like, all right. So I start meeting them, putting pen to paper, thinking, and I'm meeting these self-storage companies all over the world. And while I'm doing that, and in my ignorance, I call these companies that say moving and storage. It says storage on it. So I'm like, they must be storage too. Let me see what they're doing.
Right.
They don't do the same kind of storage. I'm like, oh, what do y'all do? We do warehousing. And also we move boxes. I'm like, okay. And I'm getting the same story I'm telling you and everyone listening. And the guy goes, this guy's a smart guy. He's like, James, you have no idea what you got. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, we're going to use this for virtual estimates. He's like, the most expensive thing I do is I put a guy behind the wheel of a truck to drive wherever. And I'm spending gas money, wear and tear on the vehicle, and hourly wage in the hopes that I win the business. And your stuff, we'll just do it virtually. I'll send a text. They just tap it, just kind of like the 911 call thing we were talking about. And they'll just walk me around. And I was like, would you pay American money for this? Because the first guy, I was like, I'll pay you to take it. Like I literally paid the first guy to take it. I was like, I'll pay you just so I can see if the dang thing works.
Wow.
Well, the next guy, this guy paid me American money. I was like, I wonder if there's more people that would pay for this. This was like 2 years ago. Oh my. Boom. Like now we're just spreading like wildfire everywhere. Like even yesterday, remember I'm the painter? We had a painter in India buy our stuff. I was like,
what?
Let's go.
What?
No, and I mean, I got car wash companies buying this stuff. self-storage, property managers, electricians, plumbers, heating and air, all day. Like we're rolling. We're
Wow.
rolling. And I mean, even more. It's crazy. Like we're getting under the hood of all the big CRMs out there, and here we go. But short question, long answer is like I was banging my head and like just listening to like putting myself in front of smart people, like taking notes, and they gave me the answer test. I had the little my little science fair project, but they had the answer, and boom, now it's commercial grade. I got a bunch of computer scientists running this thing. People use it every single day, and they say beautiful things. Like even your friends that you introduced me to, they just
Yeah.
started using it this weekend, and they're like James, and they run a roofing company. They're like, James, I love it. I love it all. This is what he said. He said we already used it all over the weekend, and we didn't have to drive anywhere on Sunday.
Hmm.
He didn't have to drive anywhere on Sunday. That means he got to spend the rest of his day at his house with his family. And I know what that is because I used to knock on doors after church on Sunday to get the money. So while I went back to school during the day, my teams were running the painting and power washing. I mean, full circle, man.
Man, dude, that is mind blowing. That is truly mind blowing, and I'm super excited for you guys. First of all, congratulations, because that's huge. Like you are solving some big problems, brother, and that right there is absolutely amazing. Just through that, you've really just like spoken about literally like the whole story behind Life Switch and how you guys got to like the point that you are now as well too. Like it's amazing. Can you just so the viewers can also really understand and know exactly what Life Switch is, which is the company that you're working with right now?
Yeah.
What exactly is it? Who is it for? And how can they get access to it if they
Yeah.
want?
So we created a platform, right? So that text to connect with no app, frictionless. It's a lot different than it's actually opposite of like a FaceTime call. It's not the same. Like a FaceTime call was meant for my folks to watch their grandkids blow out the candles on their birthday. That's what that's for. It ain't for doing business. It just isn't. Like, I mean, I guess people have tried and it's okay, but I'm
Mm,
like, man, it's not purpose built. So like I'm one of only a few companies that do live video, very few in the whole world.
mm,
And I went and now I'm working with the movers at first, right? And they'll tell me little things like, hey, it'd be great is if when we send that text, if the person I send it to who's going to walk around the house, if it's big for them, like if you got crappy eyes, like I do, I got these big Coke bottle glasses, and then
mm,
make my sales guy small because they're going to look through the phone and they're going to be the eyes and ears. And then for my guys back in the office, blow that thing up on my big monitor so we can just sit back, record the video, take remote photos, take notes, and they keep giving us all these. And that's just one piece of the pie. We built 6
mm,
other pieces of the pie. I mean, we're talking putting stuff on your website where you can click a button and up pops your salesperson. We're talking about putting QR codes on site. You can like put a QR code on the water heater if you're, a plumber. You can put the QR code on the breaker box if you're an electrician. You can, put the QR code anywhere you want, and that way that the customer for repeat business, they just scan it, take a video, you watch it, and you're saving a trip in the truck. And we have all these different ways that it's getting used because it's made by painting guys and landscaping guys. Like
mm.
the founders of this company were like painters and like, so it's simple as and easy to use. And if you want to try it, literally just go to LiveSwitch, LIVESWITCH.com, free trial, or frankly, just go and click demo and say, I want to talk to James. And you can talk right to me. I'll give you all the time in the world.
Man,
But yeah,
I love that.
and that's just a flavor. You got to touch it. It's like one of those things you got to touch it. And then, I mean, even a day, like I'm talking about, I'll tell you the exact time stamp
Mm,
at 12:46 p.m. Eastern time. This is
mm,
a moving company. The name of the
mm,
moving company is Chris and Styles Moving. And here's what they just bought this stuff. They said, best decision ever. This is this is not, we did not paste this anywhere. This is just internal to my team. And my
mm.
customer success gal, Lauren, she wrote this out from what Chris said. He said, best decision ever, exclamation. So streamlined. Tell your team they already know what they are doing. We already won a job on our first use. We are with you all for the long haul, Chris. I'm like, what? I mean, I don't know how to say that. That guy doesn't even know I'm sharing this. Like they
Wow.
just wrote this. Like it's nowhere. That guy pays me money. I didn't pay him to say none of that. He could have said this is trash. But yeah, it's that kind of, it happens every day, man. I could just start rolling through like different owner. This is
Mm,
life changing. I get 2 hours back with my daughter now. I don't have, like, it's stuff I'm like, this is crazy, man. This is
mm,
like lightning's going to strike twice. And we do believe, like, it's just, we've got some fundamentals we teach our team, you know,
mm,
hard work, hard work. No one's going to call you. We call them. Santa's
mm.
coming down the chimney, you know, like we coming, you know,
Wow.
you got to row the boat. And I try to scare people out of working here. Like,
Mm,
don't come here. It's going to be too hard. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a lot of work. And people are like, I don't want to pretend. There's no participation awards. There
wow.
really is not in business. You'll get your clock cleaned, you know?
Wow. Dude, you have like it is so amazing. It's like the things you say are so profound as well too, and the impact that you guys are having as well too is absolutely game changing. And it's like, so guys, the I know exactly what James is talking about because when I met James first, James actually like made me take a demo and stuff with him live there. I was blown away immediately. Right after that, I literally called my roofing partners because I'm the CMO of the company as well. I called them. I was like, Kevin, we got to get on this. We have to get on this. We need this right now. And it's been doing amazing stuff for us already.
Yeah.
So just how game changing it can be for you to just do virtual estimates. And also, as you were saying, have a QR code put on somewhere, wherever it is that you're doing, where they can go and scan it if they have any problems for a roofer, power washing, painting, whatever. That is game changing where you just keep on getting repeat business. It's insane what you've done, brother. It really is.
Hey, man, I'm grateful.
I'm glad. I'm glad. I think I'm not sure. It could be, it could not be, but I think so. Just recently I had an internet like situation where like I had like an outage for like 2 hours and I called them and everything. And literally, brother, like they sent me that link, video link and everything. I think is you guys behind them.
Oh, yeah.
You-
No, it's crazy. I'll get with somebody like, oh, I moved like the other week. My mover used this, or I had a plumber. Like, I know exactly. This is so cool. Like the network effect, like the Nextel walkie-talkie thing is clicking in. I know we'll have our viral moment, you know, it's already
Mm,
going. I mean, even if we don't, I mean,
mm,
it's been crazy. Yeah, I'm grateful, you know,
brother.
but for us, we're educators too. I want to like really talk about like the fundamentals
Mm,
of business, of getting it done, of like
mm,
the hustle that it takes, the grind, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like this ain't luck. Like nobody gave us this stuff. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't. We had to earn. We had to put the time, the effort. You know, you got to grind and like you got to look through the other's eyes. Like look through your customer's eyes. The best thing I can tell you if you're banging your head against the wall is spend more time with your customers. Don't
mm,
be up in your white ivory tower. I think about that movie Gladiator, right? Where Gladiator is down on the battlefield, got blood, guts, all his boys are down there. They just got done setting everything on fire and winning the battle. And who comes along with Caesar on his little white like horse to come in there and like, let me, like, dude, get out of here, man. You know, like, what are you doing? And don't be that kind of business owner.
mm,
Be
mm,
like Gladiator. Go down and get dirty. You know, that's what I do. Like anything I ask
mm,
my team to do, I'm doing, or already,
mm,
or leading the way. You know, I'm not going to be on the couch watching. Like I'm in my
mm,
business and I'm with my customers. And I get down to the front line of the battlefield and I listen because your customer is going to tell you if you put your pride down for a second and get
mm,
humble, and especially if they say, "Oh no, everything," fine, you know, we're okay. Mm-mm. No,
mm,
they ain't.
mm,
Well, what's really going on? You know, what can we be doing better? Really, I want candid feedback. And if you
mm,
take note, don't get mad. Don't get butt sore. You know, get your pen and pad out. Take some
mm,
notes. They're going to give you the answer to the test. I don't care what you do. If you're selling chicken sandwiches or you know, whatever, building crazy technology, or I don't care what you're doing.
mm.
If you listen, and then they will find you. I always tell people, I'm like, if Kofi and I start a macaroni and cheese stand in the middle of nowhere, Georgia, and it's the best macaroni and cheese you ever tasted in your life, I bet Kofi and I don't have to do a lick of advertising.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna come find you. They're like, oh, you go around that corner over there. Those boys behind the counter are gonna make you the best mac and cheese of your life. And then they're gonna find you. Make a good
Mm,
product. Make a
mm,
good product. Good customer service. Follow
mm.
up and teach your people to do the same. I don't care what you do. You'll find a little piece of success. That's
Man,
just what's gonna happen.
Dude, that is monumental. I actually want to dive into that for even more for a quick second, because the thing is that many business owners, and I've realized this, many small business owners and stuff like that, heck, myself included at some point in time, right? They just find it hard to get to the right people to talk to, right? They end up talking to the wrong people, or they don't even know how to reach out to the right person to talk to in order to bring in more of that business, all that type of stuff. Where would you say, how would you say you went about that? Especially because cold calling is painful, and it's something that, like, you get lots of F offs, colorful language and stuff like that
Oh
when you
yeah.
post,
Oh
right?
yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
so it's like people are very desensitized from that and all that type of stuff. How would you say you went about that in order to really like get the right people to talk to now convert them to clients? Because more conversations is also more sales, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's a golfer out there. His name's Jack Nicklaus. You ever heard of him?
No. Interesting.
Jack Nicklaus, one of the best golfers in the world. Tiger
Cool.
came and was also better, a little better, but Jack Nicklaus is one of the best golfers ever. All right, and
Mm,
they're I'm dating myself. I got gray hair, y'all. So they are interviewing him, and I'm
mm,
watching this thing, and Jack's won like 4 or 5 titles, like Golden Bear, like he's killing it. Everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, this guy's." I mean, he's winning the Masters, the Open. He's killing it. Like he's the best, you
mm,
know. And they're interviewing him, and they're like, "Jack, you're the best golfer in the world." He's like, "Not really." What? Like what? You're killing it. He's like, "Let me tell you the difference between me and the other guys on a Sunday when we're playing golf for it all." The other guys that I'm walking with, he said, we're at the top of the leaderboard. They'll hit it in the woods, and they'll think about that the next 3 or 4 holes. He's like, "You know what I do? I just hit it right out in the woods, forget about it, and say that's golf, and I keep moving, and I don't even think about it again." The same thing for cold calling.
mm,
I don't worry about the no. I expect them to say no. That's not even what I'm looking for. I'll make
mm.
150 cold calls. I'm looking for 2 yeses, and that is a gift. How often do you guys say yes to a cold call?
Nah, never.
Never.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. If I make 150 cold calls, I'm going to get 2 people to give me a chance.
Mm,
Remember, I'm going to get thrown off the porch a bunch of times with my painting. I knock on the door. Nobody wants to cold call. Getting
mm,
soft. Oh, it won't work. Tell me it don't work. Because that's how I built this. You know what I did after I built it? I humbled myself and called 150 cold calls a day to moving companies.
wow.
And then I got on, and I was humble. I didn't have a brand. I had a couple customers to my name,
Mm,
and I just did my best. And another guy took a chance on me. Another gal took a chance on me. And then I got to know everybody in the industry. And in about 3 weeks, this was only 2 years ago, 0 customers, me cold calling. In
mm,
about 3 weeks, I will be on a virtual stage. Okay, and I came up with the idea of these virtual conferences. I was like, let's
mm,
give back. So I got some partners within like a marketing company that's the markets movers, and a CRM company. And I
mm,
got to know them, and I spent time, and I gave more than I got. I'm like, how can we help you guys grow? Right. And then I started meeting very smart business owners, men and women. And I was like, would you be on a virtual conference and talk with me? Like what Kofi and I are doing right now for 30 minutes. And we even charged tickets. We didn't know what was going to happen. I was like, maybe we'll throw a party and no one comes. Well, they came, and they're like, let's do another one. And they came again. And that exit surveys, we love it. Because I always tell people, like, hey, just tell the secret sauce. Like,
mm,
come on. Like, no one came to listen to you
mm,
to not get a little secret sauce. So
mm,
then they do. And lo and behold, this one, the biggest influencer in all of moving, wouldn't give me the time of day. Still hasn't. And I got a lot of moving customers,
wow.
a lot. Well, in 3 weeks, I'll be on the virtual stage with him, interviewing him. And I was nobody in moving 2 years ago. Nobody. Flea on a dog. So how'd I do it? I cold called 150 times a day. That's hard to do. No one else wants to do that. But you
Mm,
got to start somewhere. Go knock on a door. Get back to work. No one's going to call you. And you can do all the fancy marketing. And yes, fancy marketing sometimes does work. Not to
mm,
steal any thunder, Kobe. Like, you should do that, right?
mm,
But sometimes you just got to get scrappy. You got to go down to the field, get your hands dirty, be gladiator, and go
mm,
on and get you some demos, 2 a day, keeps the doctor away. And then your product better be good. Don't be serving no cold chicken sandwiches. Ain't no one gonna eat that. You better be hot and crispy and fresh. So you
Yes.
better make sure your product isn't janky. And then learn. They're like, it's kind of cold. All right, we're gonna heat it up. We may fry it. Like, how you think Chick-fil-A got going? I mean, you just keep
Mm,
iterating. You keep iterating and iterating. Get better. Listen. Get better. And
mm,
hustle. And I mean, I coach people. Now I go into industries no one knows my name, and I just get to know the people, and I can give all kinds of tips and tricks how to build your network when you ain't got one. But nothing beats the grind. You just got to
man.
grind. Humble yourself. Pick up the
Humble
phone.
yourself. Wow. I love that. That humble yourself, get to the grind, pick up the phone. I love that a lot, brother. Goodness me. Like, I know a lot of people will definitely resonate with that and take a lot from that in what you said as well, too. Like, it's very interesting, whereas like you really have to humble yourself because somebody of like your caliber, a lot of people would wish for even a quarter of what you have or what you even like succeeded, even 1/10 of it. But the fact that you are where you are and what you've achieved, you're saying humble yourself, get to the grind, go into the nit and gritty. It doesn't matter about the fancy marketing. No offense taken, by the way, because I
Okay.
totally get it. You still got to grind because
Yeah.
all these other stuff, it doesn't matter. You just got to keep on grinding. That resonates heavily, brother. Man, oh man. James, Margaret mentioned something that I found very interesting. At first, I thought it was just you that was like this and all, like, just the way you are. And now, even from this entire conversation, I'm also like getting the sense of it too. Margaret mentioned that your leadership team doesn't focus on net worth of yourselves and stuff like that, but rather on creating the impact. Can you? I'm very interested if it's based off of faith, if it's based off of something else, because you have a very. I see your founding team. All of you guys are very impressive. Margaret is impressive. You're impressive. Brian, your co-founder, very impressive as well too with the Inmates program too. How did this philosophy come across, and how did it help shape the business decisions of Life Switch?
We all came from nothing. No silver spoon.
Mm,
And we can see the person walking through the door on day one and remember ourselves walking through the door on day one and remember how we wanted to be treated. I want to be treated like a professional. If I'm a rookie, I'm not just coming from nothing. Like we look for the best, brightest. You better bring it. And I'm going to
mm,
talk you out of working here. But if you get through that and you step on the court, here's the ball. Go dunk it. Let's go. Like, I ain't got no time. We
mm,
go fast.
mm,
Everything's fast. I don't have time for titles. I don't have time for my pride or someone else's pride. And yeah, we've built some stuff, but no, we're getting down. And like, I have an intern walk in, and what do you think of this? Here's a challenge I'm trying to figure out. You figure it out.
mm,
Sometimes that intern, I don't know if you've ever had this, and if you're a parent out there and you get schooled by your 7 or 8-year-old, truth is the truth no matter what voice comes out of it.
mm,
You know what I mean? And like, he'll humble you. I've had my 8-year-old humble me. Like, yep, they're right. That's right. Let the best answer win
mm,
and not the best title. And I don't even want the title. Titles. Once you go to the top, man, let's just race to the bottom. Ain't no one trying to go to the bottom. Ain't no one going
mm,
that direction. You're like, I'll just race. I'm just going down that way. Like,
mm,
let me go back and take the lowest title and let me give I give my stuff away. Like I was a product officer, got another guy doing it. I was a revenue officer, I'm giving someone else. Like, I'm just going to keep giving it away. That's how you scale. If it's got to all go through you, you ain't going fast. You ain't going to go fast. If the buck stop with you, it's because of your pride, because you think you do it better than everybody else. Why don't you teach someone else to do it just as good as you or better? I
mm,
mean, I think the Padawan becomes the Jedi, like, or whatever that thing is, the student becomes the master. Like, give it back, like, train them up. Like, it only benefits you it benefits them. And guess what? It'll benefit you big time, because then you'll have a team of owners, not employees. I always say an employee sees trash on the ground in the office or wherever and walks by it. They say, not my job. The owner sees trash on the ground and like, oh, this is our office. Like, let me pick that up and throw it away. They care for it. You don't wash a rental car by hand. When's the last time you washed a rental car by hand, Kofi? You ain't done it, because that ain't your car.
mm,
But if it's your car, you're going to get out there and you're going to take care of it. It's going to smell nice, look nice. It's going to be, because you got pride in it. You're the owner of it. So we
mm,
try to help people become owners. We want owners, not employees. You can go work somewhere else and be an employee. But you're going to come here, we're going to turn you into owner. And you need to look through owner's eyes. And so it takes a while for some, and some never get there, and that's it. That's okay, but that's really where we start from. And I think it's just, that's where we come from. We would just,
dude, man. Oof. This is a fire podcast, by the way. 'Cause I'm like, I am loving this so much. It's like you're just really drilling into a lot of things that many people just have with misconceptions, with I guess delusions as well too, and all of that. And now it's making sense to me as to why you and your team are where you are. And it just comes down to literally just humility. Because a lot of people get tied in the nuances and the titles, with the, like I'm a CEO, I am this, I'm that. I'm not gonna go down and do this. Let me just hire this person to do that. Of course, you're delegating at times to free up your time and everything to build up a team. But if you're not ready to roll up your sleeves and get down and dirty and humble yourself, you won't be able to do that. It's very interesting to me that you're able to develop that, and I'm wondering how you were able to, because with again, you've built billion-dollar businesses, brother. Like you guys are doing some stuff working with the top brass, and you're about to even go even further than that. And with all of that, for somebody to say that, like, yeah, I don't even want to like pump my chest with it. I just want to nobody. I don't even want anybody to know my name. Just be chill. It takes a crazy amount of humility. I'm wondering how you and your team were able to build that and all.
we speak the truth to each other even when it hurts. You know who your friends are. The wounds from a friend can be trusted. When's the last time someone wounded you? And were you grateful or were you pissed? And if they were right, did you get humble and change? So since we check our titles out the door, we can say anything to each other without it being nasty. Like last day of month, we all dressed up in suits. We just do it for camaraderie. Let's look good. So we put on, we even have a contest, best dressed. And we did that this morning. Okay. And I had mine. I was on the nines, man. You should have seen me. I had everything. I can dress up with the best of them. And one of the guys didn't dress up. So guess what we said? Like, hey, never do that again. If the team dresses up, you dress up, or you're not on the team. Because you don't look like you're on the team. You didn't wear the jersey today, did you? Oh, well, no. You can get mad. Well, you can make excuses. No. Be humble. Next time I'll dress up. That's my bad. But is anyone going to say anything? Even to the owner? And are you able to be said to? Not in a nasty way. But if everyone tells you yes, you're living a house of cards. You don't know what the truth is, because no one will speak the truth to you. And you don't even want to hear it. You want to hear if the product's not working. You want to hear if employee ain't happy. You don't want to hear whatever. And you don't want to say, or maybe you don't have enough courage to say it. It takes courage to tell someone the truth and wound them and hurt them. As an example, I used to manage a bunch of different teams. I had a guy on a performance plan from other managers, and he joined me, and I found out everything about him, good, bad, and ugly. And I said, hey, Neil, I'm going to tell you all the things that people tell you about you behind your back. I'm going to say it to you right now. First one-on-one. He's like, ooh. I mean, I just started nailing it to him. They say this, they say this, they say this, they say this. He's like, this is the hardest first one-on-one I've ever had in my life. I was like, I know, but it's the truth. So you can, here's what you can do with it. You can get mad and leave. Welcome to America. You can go find another job. This will be your last day if you want. Or you can change. And we'll see what happens. Well, he chose to change. That guy rose up so fast in the organization, tons of promotions. And I'm in the middle of nowhere, Scotland. I was going to go play golf in Scotland 2 years ago. And I managed this guy from half a world away. And we had never met face to face. I'm on a beautiful golf course in Scotland. In the middle of nowhere. It's gorgeous. And I'm turning the corner and I hear, James Hatfield? And I'm like, I'm in Scotland. Like, maybe I'm like, this got to be someone like I thought it was something went wrong, like
Yeah.
someone like coming to tell me like I got to get on a plane and go back to the States right now because I'm having with my family,
Yeah.
I remember a lot of people die. So I'm like, well, here we go again. Nope. It was Neil. He ran up to me, gave me the biggest hug. First time we ever saw each other face to face.
Wow.
And he's an executive at a pharmaceutical company.
Wow. Wow. All because you
And
told them the
he
truth.
still brings it back. I remember when you told me the truth and I decided to step up.
Wow.
You got to
Man.
tell the truth, people, man. And take it on the chin, too. That's
Man.
it. That's what we do. That's how we run. If you were in any of our meetings with our core team and we're sitting there talking, like, woo, yeah, a little friction. Like Steve Jobs used to say, there's a tumbler and you put a bunch of stones in there and you just let it keep turning. Come back to it after a few weeks and all the stones will be nice and smooth and beautiful.
Mm.
You need a little tension in your organization to make those beautiful stones.
Mm.
That's what we
Man.
do.
Dude, that is next level. And I'm gonna even take that and implement that. I like to think that I have that sort of um, philosophy as well too within my company. But I also know that I'm not as humble as you are for sure. So that means I definitely have some work to do, and I definitely want to like have a conversation with my team as well too to be able to tell me anything, anytime, and I them, and then we just use it to grow. I
You
love that,
can't
brother.
you can't humiliate a humble man.
Mm, mm, mm. I never thought of that. That is very, very oof.
Don't worry, your feelings will let you know if you're there yet.
Yeah, which is I have a lot of work to
Yeah.
do.
When you
Evidently.
want to run someone over with a truck, you ain't there yet, bro.
Yeah.
You got more work to do.
Oh my gosh. I love this. Oh man. Okay. I have a lot of work to do. Brother, this is amazing in terms of everything that you've shared, everything that you've done. And again, the way you guys stay humble and everything of that sort, and the results you guys have gotten and the company you built before, and the company that you have now, and the people that you're working with. There are many like business gurus out there that like are always saying like their own notion and stuff about business, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. What's one piece of conventional business advice that you think you've heard somewhere that is dead wrong?
I think it's what we're talking about. So there's a lot of people that haven't got that. They get humiliated. They don't
Mm,
like to be told the truth. They don't like to row the boat. So what are they going to do? What's your guess? And I prepared the company. Like you put me at the helm. Don't be checking Glassdoor. Because who writes on Glassdoor? Someone who got a little sore. But at least I told you the truth. I wasn't nasty. I didn't, you know, truth comes and not everyone likes it,
mm,
And will it put me in the best places to work in the country? Probably not initially.
mm,
Not initially. But I got a guy who I hired 20 years ago out of college. He's in for another round, right? Right out of college. And he came and joined my sales team and did great. He's still fantastic and he's in
wow,
for another round. And we're doing it again. Like,
wow,
go watch documentaries on Michael Jordan and how he was with his guys on that court. It wasn't pretty,
mm,
but they won some championships, I think.
mm,
And Jordan was there to do it. He wasn't there to watch. He was like, no, come on, giddy up. And sometimes sometimes you gotta apologize, right?
mm,
When you're wrong, because you're going to be wrong.
mm.
A lot of people don't like to say sorry. Okay, that can be some conventional wisdom people don't like to do. Admit their mistakes, power and vulnerability.
Mm.
You know, but if you adopt some of these things, you know, you might
Man.
that. I mean, again, whether you're faithful or not, it's not what it's about. But the truth might get you killed.
Mm,
It did
mm.
for the guy I'm trying to imitate.
Yeah. Wow. Man, that really does hit home. Man, brother, everything you say is hitting home. Like it's crazy, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it so much. It's like it's a lot of things for people to really consider and stuff as well too. So for the entrepreneurs listening, especially with like, life switch and how in this situation, I understand how you guys were able to help a company in Georgia literally increase their monthly recurring revenue to 200K just by having virtual estimates and all of that. I'm wondering, what is your advice, and especially with you like building the stuff that you've been building, what is your advice on building systems that create scalability and freedom, especially in this current day and age with AI and automations and all of that?
Yeah, I think it's overwhelming for a lot of folks, right?
Mm,
You gotta, oh, I gotta learn this and learn that. I gotta get my degree in tech, like so I can just run my business.
mm,
There's things that always work, knocking on doors, doing the cold calls, like doing the work, you know. But there are some cool tools that have come out. I think the
mm.
smartphone's kind of cool. You remember back in the day, a smartphone first comes out, you're gonna have people like, nah, that ain't for me. And now they're like, don't take my cell phone away from me. I gotta have it. It's the best tool ever. So you've got to kind of, for some of that slow adopters, and that's fine. It's no big deal. Like get someone who's good at it, you know, get
Mm,
someone who's going to come around because you start adopting the right tools. Now you're going to know what's right or wrong. You know how is when you use it, it works. It's crazy. Isn't that crazy?
mm,
You try, like something ain't working. Now, first, give yourself a rope where you're like, all right, I'm going to, because, and phone a few friends. Oh, you use
mm,
that? You use that? Okay. All right. Let's try it. It'll be clunky at first for some of us. Others take on like, got it, bam, done. Like, and find the right things and the right tools that work for you. You know what I mean? And it just takes a while to get
yeah.
those things. And sometimes stuff's just clunky, man. Like we use
Mm,
some tech in our business. Where I'm like, that's so clunky, but we're still working through it. We're still learning it. We're still trying to figure it out. But,
mm.
find the stuff that works. Don't be afraid to try a new thing and, fail fast. That's it.
Fell fast. Man, actually, let's dive in on that, brother. Because you said something that I've heard a lot. People are always like, fail fast, fail fast. And a lot of people always jump ship off of something that isn't perfect, isn't the way they want it, and stuff like that. What do you mean when you say fail fast? And why is that important?
Fail fast can be monumental for you,
Hmm,
meaning change your entire career, your business, whatever. Fail
hmm,
fast can also be little things, right?
hmm,
Like, man, I stayed up way too late last night. Man, I ain't taking care of my health. Man, I shouldn't have said that to that person. Man, I really screwed this up. Man, I
hmm,
didn't deliver when I said I was going to deliver.
hmm,
Wow, did we go way over budget on that one? There's a lot of little fails. They always say, hey, first time's fine. Do it again and then do it a third time. You just stupid now. Like you ain't listening. Keep
hmm,
failing. Like life will teach. If it's your
hmm,
character or if you haven't seen it yet, don't worry. You're gonna keep making the same mistake over and over and over again.
hmm,
Those are character traits that we got to work through. But sometimes, as an example, my brother is a professional bodybuilder, huge dude. Dude, I'm like a buck 40. Soaking wet. I ain't gonna be that. And I could go and get in that gym, eat right, lift
hmm,
those weights, deadlift to my
hmm,
heart's content. I'm not gonna win any trophies. It ain't gonna happen. You know. And we
hmm,
watch stories like Rudy and those movies, and you see the dude come up from nothing, and he gets to play one game.
hmm,
He got to play one game. That's a beautiful story. It's a beautiful movie. He didn't make it to the NFL. He didn't do it.
hmm,
So I had a sales guy, and he would be the first one in with me when I opened the building, last one out when I closed the building, and he would be there all the time. Everybody loved him. Like mascot of company. Oh, he's so nice. He's so this. We had a little problem though. What are sales people supposed to do, Kofi?
close.
Sell, yeah, close, get the money. Well,
Yeah.
this guy couldn't close the door. And I kept him longer than I should because he was putting in the sweat equity.
Yeah.
But I had to bring him in my office one day. But hey, man, here's the thing: selling ain't your guy, ain't your thing.
Mm,
It ain't the product. It ain't the company. My man is you. You're the
mm,
problem. Now you can go and find another sales job. It ain't gonna be here. But I'm gonna tell you, I don't think this is for you, and that's okay. I'm not supposed to be a professional bodybuilder, and I'm
mm,
okay with that. I've come to grips with that.
mm,
So I think being willing to like step in, telling people like, hey, this failure here, it might feel like a big failure that I'm not a professional bodybuilder. And I can get mad. Why didn't you make me this way? Go find your own sport, bro. Go find your own different thing. It's okay. You know, you're going to do, and if that's what you have to be and do it, it's fine. You know, but if you never win, you know, a major championship, I ain't going to be there crying and doing the small violin for you. Like I done told you, you know, I'm not trying to be a dream crusher. I'm just also trying to be like, hey, this stuff is hard, man. You know, I didn't run fast enough to make the NFL. I wasn't tall enough to be a pro ball basketball player like I wanted to be.
Man, dude, this is monumental, and it's interesting how I love your people skills and the relationship you have with your team and your company. You adore and love people, and it even comes across with what you and your family do, right? Always going out, giving to people, singing for people on hospice, and all of that. You're passionate about giving people second chances, even with you and you're a co-founder. You know, mentoring former inmates to coaching young entrepreneurs and all of that. What would you say the most important lesson you've learned about when it comes to resilience and reinnovation and reinvention? Yes, I can't speak. Resilience and reinvention. What would you say is the most important lesson you've learned about that, especially in the game of second chances?
Mm. Man, bad company corrupts good character. You know, put yourself around good people. And if you ain't got one, find one. I've had so many humble moments. It happened a week ago. And it's happened a few times in my life. But I used to help a lot of college students back in the day. My wife and I loved college ministry, that young age, formative time of life, you know, young professionals, young college folks, you know, that 18 to 24-year-old age, you know. And I'd have them over to the house, try to mentor, like, be like, just go through that. And once upon a time with this kid, I mean, he was a good kid, but, you know, he just kind of disappeared. Well, I get this message on LinkedIn. Hey, I just wanted to check on, I hope you and your family are well. Just want to see if we can catch up type of thing. And I was like, no problem, man. Here's my booking link. Book some time. Let's go. So I get on, and he is in his most humble time. He's like, hey, and this guy, I got family and kids. And he's like, hey, I'm going through AA right now. And they said I need to make amends for anyone I think I wronged. And you were on my list amongst others. And so I just wanted to apologize. But, you know, I fell into some things, and I just want to ask for your forgiveness. And I was like, I was so taken aback. I was about to just lose it, right? I was like, you ain't got to ask for forgiveness for nothing, you know? But here's the thing. I totally 100,000,000% forgive you. And I am so in awe of your humility right now and your vulnerability right now. And he was like, I'm just so grateful. You're the only person who returned my thing. You're the first one, too. It's like, well, hey, man. And I've had this happen to me multiple times, like when people are down in the gutter. And so they're just, you know, either medicating through different things or they've got caught up with the wrong circle. You know, it's not too late. You know, go find someone who will invest in you and you can invest in others. And then eventually, guess what? When someone reaches out to you and now you got this circle of wonderful men and women around you, you can turn around and give it back. Don't be selfish. Don't be a dead end. You know, it's a relay race. We're meant to hand it off. And don't forget to hand it off. Like, don't be a dead end person, you know, because people start giving it to you. And I think that's really what, you know, will really help through all this and create that resilience and that energy. When I'm down, I get down. You get down. My friends get down. You know, we just, you know, we got to have some people. You know, it's like Forrest and Bubba, man. You lean up against me, I lean up against you, so we don't have to sleep with our heads in the mud. You know? Do you have someone to lean up against? If not, go find that person. It's not good for man to be alone. You know? So you need some people. And start with vulnerability. Like that young man did, well, he's not a young man anymore, did to me the other week, letting me know what he's going through. That's what it starts with. I think he's gonna be all right. I don't know. I just have a guess. Seen this movie before. Many times, unfortunately, but in good ways. And I've seen miracles happen because of it. So, it's not too late.
Wow.
Man, I gotta put my soapbox down, Kofi. You got me up here just doing it, man. You gotta have to bring that plane in, man, because
No,
I
bro.
just keep going, man. Like,
No, I love this, bro, because it's like you're imparting onto us knowledge, experience, wisdom, in many different facets of life, through childhood, through trauma, through faith, through love, humility. So I'm keeping up on that soapbox, brother, because man, it's impeccable, and I know everybody watching this too will also recognize and understand just how blessed we are to have a human being like you doing what you do, and regardless of everything, how you just go hard at it. You're a beautiful example for us to look at, to see exactly what is possible when we really, really grind, and stay humble,
mm,
and which actually also leads me to the next one. You see, you said that following Jesus' teachings saved your life. It changed your life.
mm.
And I'm wondering how you apply those principles when making high stake business decisions as well.
Well, isn't that something? I'll tell you the time my partner and I split ways.
Mm.
All right, I'm about to put it out there. I told you this is me.
Well, okay.
So as we're building businesses, like I don't miss. I'm pretty competitive.
Mm.
Like I'm not missing. We doing it. Like I'm gonna make it.
Mm.
And during part of my life when I was coming off my low, I'd have and I was living in a fraternity house, for a little
Mm.
while. In a
Mm.
place I shouldn't be living, really,
Mm.
doing a bunch of nonsense. And I was really trying to like at this point in my life be like, hey, I gotta get some stuff together because this ain't going where I think it needs to go. And
Mm.
so I end up sleeping on some couches for a little bit because I didn't like if I go into that house, I'm not going to be making good choices. So I always felt like,
Mm.
man, I need to pay it back. Like so, we had a college student staying in our house, same type of thing, and I came back one evening and I missed my goal. I don't miss,
Mm.
and I was noticeably upset.
Mm.
And this gal, sweet little thing, she's like, "You don't look happy. You should just quit." I'm like, I don't quit. What are you talking about? Like this house does not pay its own bills. I don't know if you knew that. But I sat down and I put down what my priorities were at that moment.
Mm.
And this was me after, like making a lot of changes in my life.
Mm.
But I got caught up in it. And I was like,
Mm.
man. So I wrote down what my priorities should be. I hand wrote that list, took a picture of that sucker, walked into my partner's office. I'm like, I think I got to step back. I said, where are you going? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. But I don't have this in order. I don't know what that means. But that's when, I had a lady like 3 years ago say, you should go plant a church. I was like, not doing that. And shortly after that moment, my buddy and I are driving down to Georgia for a wedding.
Mm.
I look at him, I'm like, you ain't gonna believe this. But I think I'm supposed to go start churches. And I
Wow.
was like, you want to go with me? And bless his soul heart, he's like, let's do it. We got down to the thing, and then by the time we got back home in Raleigh, I'm telling my friends, and I'm like, I know this is gonna sound crazy, but like, do you want to come too?
Wow.
And it took people a while. And eventually, some of my students were like, hey, I'll go to college out there. Hey, sign me and my family up. It's like, well, here we go. Let's do the dang thing. So we packed it up and drove out west and started churches,
Wow.
you know? And there it goes. And now we got 6 of them, or soon to be 6. We got 5, soon to be 6. And I'm
Oh
like,
my.
what the heck? But yeah, tell an atheist kid who could care less about this stuff, hey, in your future, like, yeah, right. No way. But
Dude.
sometimes you feel called to things, So a lot of this stuff,
Mm.
you know, I can say I'm cool by association, man. I didn't come up with this stuff. My playbook was a dumpster fire. See me about like 25 years ago. You'd be like, bro, like, what are you
Mm.
doing with yourself? So
Mm.
I was filling that
Dude.
hole of depression with
Mm.
nonsense. not knowing what to do. But sometimes you lose your way. Even there, you got to be reminded. You know, you need a little voice of a 18-year-old caution. You probably shouldn't do what you're doing. You know, like, what the heck?
Oh my gosh, bro.
Dang, like it comes in a whisper, man. It comes in like you're like, ah, and you get cut up by just a, and you're like, okay, all right then.
Yo, dude, this is so. I'm telling you guys right now, you need to be watching this entirely, and you need to rewatch this because this is impeccable, James. Like, goodness gracious, brother, it's very like every single time that you're up on the soapbox, you're just giving some amazing perspectives on things which a lot of people would not even consider or would not be able to do simply because, and I see it now, when you say you're fearless, you're not joking. You are really fearless, especially in order to take action on what you need to do, right? And it's really, again, very inspiring, for me, and I'm sure for many others also watching this, right? And I'm wondering, like, when you think about legacy, and it's like legacy is normally something that everybody thinks about, especially when they're like, they've got young ones and all of that, and they're looking at maybe transitioning over and stuff like that. What do you think? Is it about the companies you've built or something deeper? Is it about the love, the giving back? Like what exactly is it for you?
Mm. When your debt has been forgiven so big, I'm telling you,
Mm,
man, when I hit that fork in the road, I had a lot of debt, life debt,
mm,
and so yeah, life will teach you, man. Even through the toughest stuff, and when death hits your front door, everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth, right?
yeah.
Boy, I got a one too. I was down on the mat,
Mm,
and so I think for me, a lot of it is just, man, when you see a changed life, it's not my legacy. See, it's not about me. Like I don't even think like that. Like I,
mm,
I I'm trying to make someone else cool, not me. Like the guy I'm trying to imitate. If you know, you know.
mm,
If you know, you know. The
mm,
person I'm trying to imitate. It's not about me. It's not about me. Like I only am like, really? I got it. I get the little nudges. Like, dang it. It comes in a whisper. All right, I
mm,
think I'm supposed to go do something about that, or help out in that way, or say a tough thing, or just sit there with somebody when I can't
mm,
fix it. A lot of things, as someone who fixes stuff and runs, blue collar business, like you think you can fix everything. I mean, that's where I came from. My dad built his own house, grandfather. You think you can fix everything.
mm,
Sometimes you can't fix it.
mm.
Sometimes you can't fix it. And that sucks.
That does suck.
It sucks. And I want to fix it. And some people don't want to be fixed.
Yeah.
And because guess what? You can't fix that. So I'm learning how to sit at the wall. We call it sitting at the wall.
Mm,
Like, hey, I can't fix that, but I can sit here while we figure out, like, I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to listen. I got a guy last night leave me a message like, hey, my best friend's wife just got cancer diagnosis today. How do I do that? Because I've unfortunately seen young people with cancer and been through, I got more stories, which we'll make a podcast 4 hours long. But like, what do I do? I'm like, well, you can't fix it. So
mm,
sit at the wall. Sit
mm,
at the wall. I've seen other friends die. I mean, my goodness. My wife and I were just sharing like what we did when another one of my best friends passed, and like what we did. Like she spent the night every Tuesday night for an entire year, and I took they had two little girls, and like they're my daughter's age, and I took them every weekend. Sometimes you also just got to step up. You didn't
mm,
ask for that. You didn't ask for the diagnosis. You didn't ask for the death. You didn't ask for the extra responsibility. Like when the
mm,
adoption agency called me after I was done having kids and were like, hey, we got a fourth. I'm like, are you kidding me? I got three right now. I'm playing zone defense. You trying to double me up. And
mm,
my heart wasn't there at first. Sometimes my heart's not there. I'm like, I'm not
mm,
there yet. And then it gets there. And then all of a
mm.
sudden I'm on a plane, adopting the fourth. It's great. Wouldn't change it for a second.
Dude,
You know?
man.
But
Okay.
yeah, I got a good wife. I got a lot of good people around me. I didn't
Mm,
do this all on my own. I'm not that smart. I got good company. I got
good
good
company.
company. That's like from in the house to in the office to in the community to in the
Mm,
church. Takes a
mm.
village.
It takes a village, man.
And I know
I
it
love
takes a village for me, bro. It takes a city.
it takes a city. That's hilarious. I love that.
Oh
Oh
god.
my gosh, man, man. Now I love that you mentioned all of this, especially with the wife, the kids. Going to adopt, get a fourth kid as well. To in addition, especially when you're done with kids and all that as well. You homeschool your kids,
Mhm,
and you also emphasize family involvement.
mhm,
You're all about, even like with the little discussions we had, you are really exactly as you are from the real world to your family. You're all about give more, give more, give more. What lessons would you say you're actively teaching your family and kids about work, life, and success, especially since they're being homeschooled?
mhm. Now that's out of my mom and dad worked their tail off. I don't know my parents because they worked hard, coming from nothing. So I didn't get to see mine and know my dad that deeply, you know?
Mm, mm,
So I was like, man, when I have kids, I'm not missing a meal. Life is too short. I'm gonna blink and that kid's gone. So how can I mean, I went home base before COVID. Like I was like when it was not a thing. I
mm,
still do it to this day. And I'm not gonna miss a meal. And I know it will affect me professionally at times. Um, and of course I travel sometimes too. It's not like I do
mm,
miss meals, but as far
mm,
as I can, I'm gonna wake up in the morning and say hello to them. I'll be able to walk upstairs and, you know, I had to work for it. It was not given, and I had to
mm,
change and make some bold choices to make that happen. And, you know, my wife could be working right now and we could have even more money and all that stuff. So, it's what I value, I vote with my feet,
mm,
vote with my time, and I want my kids to see and know their dad. That's my thing. I want them to see and know their dad because I didn't get that, you know,
mm,
and
mm,
I'm not mad at I'm not, bitter at all. Actually, it was just one of those things like, hey, maybe if I can, we'll try to make this happen, you know, and when I walked into my partner, I think I wasn't voting with my feet. Well,
mm,
I was just voting for the dollar bill, and go get that, go build that thing. And
mm,
so, um, yeah, live and learn, make those mistakes, fail fast, right? All these things
mm,
we've been talking about,
mm,
and then I want to teach my kids to be givers and not takers. I don't want takers. Now, if they're anything like their dad, they might have a slow start, but they're going to hopefully rally hard in the end. But,
mm,
I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to try to just set a good example. And then the bird flies out the nest. Whew, we will see
yeah.
what happens.
What happens?
There's no
Yeah.
guarantees, man. There's
Right.
no guarantees. So, and even that, I mean, we're all about 5 minutes away from ruining our life and making a few bad
Mm,
decisions. Like, I'm not, I know how to ruin my life pretty quick. I can tell you, I do one, two, three, and then that'd be that, you know, and that'd be
yeah.
over.
Yeah.
So we gotta show some self discipline. What we say no
Mm,
to. There's a lot of
mm,
temptations out there,
mm,
you know,
mm,
um, and we'll fail.
mm,
Hopefully, we just
mm.
don't fail too hard, right?
Right? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm actually curious as well, just like, hearing you say all these things as well too, and the lessons that you're teaching them. And it's like, for example, even you, right? You, and also some others, even myself, we've learned that your life experiences or our life experiences normally shape us to become who we are today. And what we've seen, at least, is um, based off of the type of life experiences you have, especially when life comes knocking at you really hard, you learn to fight back in order for you to survive and get to where you are today. With a situation like yours where you're very well off, your family's very well off, and you are still teaching your kids all these things as well too, to like, get back on your feet, give back more than you can take and everything. Is there any, I wonder if there's any sense of worrying you sometimes that the moment that they may leave the nest, because they don't have that sort of, I guess, life, hard life realities happening to them, or that has happened to them in which dad or mom protected them from. Do you have a little bit of, I guess, fear that they may not be able to survive as well as you'd hope?
I don't know. They might do better.
Mm,
I mean, I have kids that come from tough spots.
mm,
Remember,
mm,
adoptions have real stories behind them.
mm,
And I've seen some things, heard some things.
mm.
It's tough, man. It's tough out there.
Yeah.
I don't know if my children are going to experience things I can't fix or I can't relate to or I don't
Mm,
look like them.
mm,
I don't look like them at all.
mm,
They don't smell like me. They don't look like me. They're a
mm,
lot prettier than me, though. I'll say that. And so, yeah, I don't know how all that's going to go. And they're going to have to learn. We all do. Everyone walks that path.
mm,
And the inheritance I hope to give is faith. Everyone's
mm,
inheritance that they want to give might be a little different. Mine, I'm not, saying, "Oh, I've got this all figured out." I'm still learning, y'all.
mm,
But I do want to, the inheritance I want to leave is faith to my kids that will leave faith to their grandkids and faith. And remember, I come from that atheist background, so you know, I'm hoping that changes my family tree. Um,
mm.
And at least our family tree will be multicolored, boy. It'll be one pretty tree. You should see when we have Thanksgiving, everyone puts their hands in the middle. We got every shade of the rainbow. I'm like, this is awesome. My pasty self. Goodness.
Oh gosh, I love
Sorry.
that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh, goodness, man.
Brother, I actually love that. That is really impeccable, and it's amazing to me as well too, because there are lots of parents out there that normally, like, they try and shelter or save their children even from the harsh realities, right? But I love and I admire again even more of how grounded you are, no matter what it is. And it's like you can't protect them from everything and all, but faith, and that you also trust that they also have that city, the village, for them to be able to come back to in order for them to thrive. I
Sure.
really love that. Brother, final question for you. If there's one message that you want to leave with entrepreneurs, dreamers, change makers listening, or even myself especially, what would it be?
Man, go reach out to people. Nobody's going to reach out to you. Nobody. I don't want them to. I mean, you can if you want. Like, you want to reach out to me? Come on. I'll connect with you anytime. So don't hear me wrong. I'm saying, like, if you're going to be a giver and not a taker, you reach out. You initiate. You ask for that time. You say great, thank you, right? You go out and get them, and you'll be shocked. I mean, I am shocked by some of the people that I have met. Very famous people. Like, what am I doing here? But whatever. I actually don't even really worry about like who's famous, who's not.
Mm,
All that stuff. I think people get butterflies. I'm like, well, everyone puts their pants on one leg at a time. But like, you need to put yourself out there. Get
mm,
rejected, man. It's good for people to get rejected. It's good.
mm,
It builds good character. It reminds you it's not about you, right?
mm,
They're not.
mm,
Who knows why they reject you? Don't take it too personal. Don't overthink it. Again, back to like, man, I'm going to cold call 150 people. I'm going to get 2 souls to say yes.
mm.
But I got 2. I got 2. You know what happens if I get 2 every day? It's going to add up. I'm going to have a network.
Yeah.
And that's what I've done. And you can do this very specifically. You can even make it as simple as just going to LinkedIn.
Mm,
And whatever you think about it, then, I mean, hey, you do you. You do whatever you want to do. I'll tell you what worked for
mm,
me. And you can imitate or you can't. What I do is every day I take about 30 minutes to connect with 20 people. I just hit the connect button. I don't send a love note. I don't send nothing. I just hit
mm,
connect. And at first, maybe 1 out of 10 brave souls actually connect with me. Oops, I shouldn't have done that. But like eventually you start connecting, and then you reach out, especially if you're in a niche. Like you reach out and you hit connect, and you've been doing this day over day. You cannot do more than 20 a day on LinkedIn. You'll get booted off.
Yeah.
Do 20 a day. But then what happens? You hit the connect button, and all of a sudden, wow, we got 400 mutual connections. 400 mutual connections. That what that person's going to think when they see 400 mutual connections? Why don't I know that person? Why don't I know that person? And they will connect. And then at the right time, the right way, don't go out pitching everybody so fast now, Speedy Gonzalez. Come on, slow down. I used to watch cartoons. What's the other one? Roadrunner. Slow down.
Yeah.
Hey, you'll get your shot. And then share. Put a little something up there. Share some knowledge and wisdom, and then start connecting. You'll start getting some good meetings with people, and then just be genuine self, and surround yourself with those. And you're gonna know the good character from the bad. I always say it sounds bad, but you can smell a rose and you can smell a fart, and you can smell it pretty quickly. And I have all these terrible sayings. I'm in the mountains, man. Like we have all these ridiculous sayings up here. They are ridiculous, but yeah. And just get a good group of board of directors, or if you're a Star Wars nerd like me, your Jedi Council. Like get them around you, all shapes, all colors, all sizes, all ages, all stages. Actually, the more variety, the better. Of all that, you get a wholeness and the fullness, and then ask all the questions, and eventually things will change for you. Man. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm just lucky. Maybe I'm just special. I ain't special, y'all. And I ain't lucky. I don't believe in luck.
Bro, no, you have gone through, as you said, you came from nothing. You have built multiple businesses, and every single business that you built end up becoming a success. Wildly successful in many people's wildest dreams. So, man, like you have dropped so much sauce, so much wisdom, so much value for everybody here. I thank you so much, James, for gracing us and coming on to this podcast, brother. This is about to be one for the books for sure. And man, again, if nobody watches this, they've done themselves a disservice. I'm pushing this everywhere. Everybody, you have to watch this one. James Hatfield is one of the absolute best human beings I have personally come across. And trust me, I've come across many millionaires, billionaires, all of that. James is one in a dime, very special. And I love that thing here where it's humility. Just being humble, just going after people. Go reach out to people. Don't expect people to reach back out to you. James, brother, thank you so much, man.
Thank you. Babe, it's just me and you today, man. I had a great time.
Same here, brother. Same here. Oh, gosh. With that being said, everybody, James and I will be signing off now. We'll talk to you guys soon. Everybody, have a good one. Hope you enjoyed.